Hey everyone, my name is Dyer, and this is COCW's CannaCorner. We are brought to you live by Coffee Party Radio USA, the Human Solution International Cannabis Open Carry Walks, and I take liberty with my coffee. So I wanted to give a big shout out to all three of them. I hope everyone's doing good today. We have this show every Monday at 8 o'clock. And today I'm really excited about our guest that we have. His name is Seth Green, and he is with Greener Pastures. So, but before I bring him on, I want to go ahead and announce a few of our events we got coming up to keep y'all informed and let y'all know what's going on out here in the COCW world. Number one, see these little logos down here? We do this every time we get flyers, and we ask everybody if they want to put their logo on the flyers, and they send in $50 and their logo, and we will put it on our flyers. And this helps us to get flyers. All this money goes back to flyers. So these bad boys get passed out all over Texas, and not even people that go to Colorado tell me all the time, yeah, I passed out some flyers over there. So these things get passed out a lot. Your business will get recognized, I promise you. And also you will be showing your support for cannabis legalization in Texas. So that's awesome. Also, everybody knows about the Walk for Change. We represent the Walk for Change. It's coming up. It's going all the way from Colorado, Southern Colorado. June 20th, 2020 is the launch date, and it's going all the way to Washington, D.C., October-ish time, right at election time. So people are actually going to be walking all the way across. We've got our map all set out. Can you see that right there? And then you see these little pop-up walks. If you want to do a walk in your area and you see that we're not there yet, you can go to www.walk4change.us, and you can find out how you can help in this. Maybe you want to jump in for a mile. Maybe you want to have your own walk and do like a little mile walk in your town and walk in solidarity with us. That's what it's all about. This is about all human rights, y'all, not just cannabis freedom. But it's a very good thing. We are representing them, and we will be doing, COCW will be representing them all year long while this walk is going on. So the other thing was that Seeds for Change March 7th event is coming up, y'all. Y'all don't want to miss this. This is the homeless event. It's a free event. Y'all come out, enjoy the Texas Music Ranch in Austin. And this ranch and the owner and Jacory that runs it, they are amazing people, and they are wanting to help us and with all the stuff we've got going on, and they are having a homeless event over there. So they're going to be having speakers to teach you how you should, how you can help the homeless, all the things about homeless. And then also they're going to show you a tour of the music ranch and what they do for the homeless. And it's just an amazing event. Bring canned goods, bring whatever you can. All those will be donated to the homeless in Austin. Also, South by Southwest, y'all, March 13th and 22nd. Joe Grumbine will be speaking. I cannot wait. It'll be at the Austin Convention Center, so y'all keep y'all eyes out open for that. Also, a little birdie told me that there may be some good news, so wait a little bit, and we might be announcing some pretty good news. Also, Human Solution International, y'all. We just joined as their Texas chapter. So we are now COCW Cannabis Open Carry THSI Texas chapter. If you want to go check them out, they help with all the court support around www.thsintl.org. Okay, so now that I got all the news and all that good shit out of the way, we can go ahead and get to what I've been so excited to do all freaking day long, is talk to Mr. Seth Green. He is an amazing activist out of Tennessee, and I am adding him now. Hey, Seth, what's up, dude?
Hey, girlfriend, what's up?
How are you doing?
I'm hanging in there. How are you?
I'm doing great. I know you just said that you had a seizure, so I thank you so much for coming. I know that it's so hard to get over that. It takes days sometimes to get over that. And I just wanted to thank you very much for coming on anyway and standing strong.
Oh, well, hon, it is no problem. Actually, I had a seizure on my last interview I did, and that was going to be with Expert Joints in Canada. And I ended up having a seizure the day before, and I just did not want to relive this all over because
Oh.
there was a big buildup. So,
Right. I totally understand. I really do.
and I didn't
Well,
want to leave you all stuck in the gutter, so to speak.
right. It's so sad that you have to deal with that. And I'm gonna go ahead. You will go ahead and tell us who is Seth Green? What is it that you do?
Well, basically, what I do is just try and get safe access to the real medications that we need here in Tennessee. Now, I'm mainly talking about cannabis, but through the research studies that I have seen throughout the years, there are a couple of other plants that has healing benefits to it that is all organic and that has been here ever since Earth was created.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm just basically here to try and help spread as much knowledge around in my region as possible, but not only my region, but also around the country and around the world to as many closed-minded people as I possibly can.
That's amazing. I watched your YouTube video, and I'm gonna put the link to the YouTube video in the chat when this gets released, so everyone can go and check that out. You're with Greener Pastures of Tennessee, and
Yes.
that is located, of course, out of Tennessee.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about that.
Well, basically, when I first started out, I did not know really where to go. And I decided to go out on my own. And actually, I just was watching a movie or a TV show one day, and Greener Pastures came in the movie, and I just thought about it for about 5 to 10 minutes, and I was like, well, my last name's Green, and Greener Pastures, I know what that means, so put two and two together, and that's really how the name became and how everyone knows me by. But I've always wanted to do something bigger with that name, and I believe I've got that opportunity because I've been wanting to save this for tonight. Um, I have recently talked to a local friend here, and he gave me some CBD products to try. And
Awesome.
CBD does not work well with me.
And me neither.
Yes, and I just need the full spectrum
Right.
oil, or just THC in the flower itself.
Right.
But my point is, I finally found a way to get my name and what I'm trying to do out there even further. And the guy I met, which is his name is Richard Howell, I believe, and he is affiliated with Horse Creek Farms and Processing. And we talked, and he is willing to put my logo on his bottles, and I make a percentage of the money.
Awesome.
And that's just one way for me to, tell everybody that has been asking me for years on end to, like, Seth, what are you going to do with your name? You should make this or come out with this or that. And this is just one little step to where I am wanting to be.
Awesome. Well, that sounds amazing. That'll
Yes.
help you. Tell everybody about the activism that you have done so far in Tennessee.
Well, I have been in the movement in Tennessee really since about 2013. I've been holding rallies there in Johnson City, Tennessee, 2 times a year since 2014, I believe, was my very first one.
Heck yeah.
I was holding that with 2 or 3 other local activists that heard about my story when it first came out in the local press. So I just basically was holding rallies 2 times a year, and then I got called up to the state capitol to testify for the 2014 cannabis bill in Tennessee, which, in my personal opinion, was not worth anything.
That's what we get here in Texas too, is those baby step bills that aren't going anywhere. Like they make no sense.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty bad because I couldn't even apply for the medicine, so I really didn't know what to do, just besides keep calling our state representatives, our senators. So that later that year, I got a scholarship to go to the Americans for Safer Access Unity Conference in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
the following March. And so I went up there, I testified to a couple of senators and state representatives in Tennessee. And actually, before I was really in the cannabis movement, I helped Gary Johnson, Ron Paul, Judge Jim Gray run for president. I actually went to meetings with them and basically got to get to know them a lot better and get to know the political world or the political side of things a lot better. And it really helped me looking back throughout the years when I'm dealing with politicians, because you've got to handle them very, very properly.
Oh, right. I totally get you on that. Yep.
So,
Heck yeah. So it sounds like you've been one hell of a cannabis warrior.
yeah,
What started
yeah.
all of it? What made you say, I got to get up and I got to get out there and start fighting?
Well, basically, the doctors told me that I would not live past 30 years old. They said with the way my cerebral palsy was going to end up developing, that I would be bedridden, in a wheelchair, just all of that mumbo jumbo. I don't really want to get into that, but so that really affected me mentally, emotionally. I had to grow up a lot faster than the other kids in a lot of ways. So when I found that out, I got out a hand a little, and I put myself in a bad spot in my life, and I was having 60 to 80 seizures in a week, 30 to 60 in a weekend's time. And I'm thankful for this because I was just giving up, basically. I was thinking about suicide. And I was looking on YouTube at videos, and I seen a woman's video, and her name is Jacqueline Patterson, and she has cerebral palsy just like me, and she touched my heart. The video, when I watched it, and the before and after video, it really just hit me emotionally because it made me think, well, okay, the doctors have been telling me a lot all my life, making me think one thing, and then here's a woman who has cerebral palsy as well, and she's older than me, and she's up and going, walking around, talking to her senators, doing this and that.
Right.
And I said, if she's able to do this, I'm able to do this. And it took me a lot of strength to get off of all those medications I was on. I was walking around like a zombie.
Right.
It was just, I couldn't talk to my family. I would cuss at my mother, and I never do that.
Right.
And when that started happening, then it was time to change and do something. And I'm just so thankful that I found that video, because it pretty much helped save my life and get to where I am right now.
And that's just amazing. You think everything that you've done started because a woman came up and came out and spoke about what it was that was harming her and what was helping her. And that's what this show is kind of all about. I've always wanted it to be about the patients, their stories, so we can get the faces of cannabis out there so people can realize that, hey, we're not just stoners sitting on the couch playing video games.
Exactly.
We are real people. We have jobs, we have families, and we're not criminals because we choose to medicate with a plant instead of pharmaceuticals.
Exactly.
And it's amazing. You think of all the people that are helped. We've got to get those stories out there so that people can see, there is hope in these situations.
Yeah. And it was such a blessing, because after I got done researching her out and I found her on Facebook, and I just started to thank her so very much for all she has done for me personally, I was able to meet her at the Americans for Safer Access Unity Conference.
Oh, wow.
And I honestly just cried, because I was like, here's my hero. I never thought I would meet her, because at the time she was living, I think it was in Kansas City, Missouri. And so, I never thought that I would be traveling the country and talking to patients, giving my story to people to let them hear and change minds. And if it wasn't for her, I would honestly be in a very bad place right now.
Well, thank you to her, and make sure y'all go check her out. Can you tell us her name one more time so they can
Yes, her name is Jacqueline. Let me say it again. Jacqueline Patterson.
Jacqueline Patterson. So y'all go check her out and show her some love. She's rocking it too, obviously, and creating such wonderful advocates over here in Tennessee. The one thing that caught my attention whenever we were talking on the phone the other day was you were telling me that your city is like so how do you call it?
Backwards.
Well, yes, Johnson County is like the same way. There's Good Old Boys Club, and they're always trying to get you and in everything in every possible way. And they don't want to listen to anything.
Exactly.
It's just crazy. It's like they're closed-minded and they're still way back out of date, in their thinking.
Yeah.
they don't understand that they have been lied to. Like some of the things that come out of like the sheriff, like when I went to testify on the bill that just passed, I think a year ago.
Yeah.
Another baby step bill like you're talking about. I really didn't like it, but I was like, okay, well, because they
Yeah, you got to go with it.
THC on it for 0.5. I'm like, who is that going to help? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you might as well go get some CBD at the store. Like,
Exactly.
it's 2 points over what you could get at the store. It's not enough for a lot of us. People with PTSD, people with I can never say that word, cerebral palsy.
Some people call it cerebral and cerebral.
There you go. So there's just so it's just you got to have the high THC. The same thing. We stand for a girl named Alexis Bortel. I don't know if you've ever heard of her.
No.
But she used to live here in Texas, and she's maybe 10 now. I don't want to misquote, but I've been following her for a couple years now. She had to move from Texas to Colorado because she needed THC, and she was having seizures like a lot a day. And then now that she's moved to Colorado and she has a grow right now, and she's able to get her medicine daily, she has not had a seizure in like 5 years. And it's just, she shouldn't have had to move away from her hometown that she knows everybody to get a plant to save her life. That's just bullshit.
Yeah. It's totally insane what they are doing to these people that are having to uproot their families that have been stabilized for generations, so to speak.
Right.
And the law enforcement, they do know what they are doing to these people's lives, and they are just like the people wearing the white coats. They're just all waiting for their take.
They're all working.
All it is
somebody. It's all about the money.
Yes, in this day and age, it's all about the money and all about the cut. Because I don't care who you are, I don't care what you say. Everybody that works in law enforcement, just about, I'd say 90% of them is crooked in one way or another, and is having to say something bad about cannabis or something cannabis related, just to keep things calm.
Right. And there are those good cops. I do salute the good ones that are out there, but I always say there's bad cops and then there's worse cops, because they sit there and watch what they're doing and don't do nothing about it. And they, you know what I mean? And they see what's going on and they don't tell nobody. They go with the flow or whatever. And that makes it worse, in my opinion. You see something and it's wrong. You're a cop. Say something, but
yeah.
Crazy.
Around my area, the biggest things that I'm having trouble with is just getting through to the older generations around here, or let's rephrase that, the older generation in this area.
The Reefer Madness generation.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. The Reefer Madness generation. Because as many times as I have been in magazines throughout the country and overseas and in local TV news briefing, or not briefings, but interviews, TV interviews and everything, they just do not seem to want to change their minds. Even if they are getting 12, 13, 14, 15 studies at a time shoved down their throats, telling them, hey, THC has medical benefits.
Yes.
Because I just got into an argument 2 days ago, right before I had my seizure, with 2 people in a group that I'm in here in Tennessee, and they was pretty much telling me that my story was bogus, that I was just a pothead, and that with my nana having skin cancer and my mother having breast cancer, and the cannabis oil healing those two types of cancers in my family, he replied back and said, I don't want to hear your, you know, made up
They're
story.
closed-minded people, man. You can't get through to those type of people.
No,
Uh,
and
all
and
you
I'm
can say,
sorry,
yeah,
you
all you
know,
can say is, look, I hope nothing like this happens to you where you need this because
oh no, that's what I said exactly. I mean, I'm sorry I'm getting tore up right here, but
no,
it
you're good.
it's just one of those personal subjects that when I talk, I get antsy a
No,
little
you're all
bit.
good.
But
I
no,
got PTSD, so I can tell you that I truly know what it is to force yourself to get out in the public eye because before I was a hermit.
yeah,
I never would have done this.
yeah, me
And
too.
I had to basically force myself to do it because I knew it needed to be done.
Yeah.
So I know that you had to probably do the same for this interview. It's not easy.
Well, in all honesty, my first hurdle, it wasn't being in the Huffington Post Impact or any of those magazines or anything. It was doing my first uh, local TV interview. And after I got done with that, then it just kind of came
It
natural
came to
to
you.
me.
Yep.
Yeah,
And you just got
because I knew if I could not calm down in a interview, then the people watching us would have a good dose of the seizure. So
right,
I
right.
had to train myself to, hey, they understand what you've got, or they would not be listening.
Yeah, there is nobody here that is going to judge you.
Yeah,
Everybody that
so
watches this show understands what cannabis is and what it does. And
yeah,
so I commend you 100% for coming on, especially like I said, I have friends that have seizures and I've seen them go through them and they can be very horrible. And I know
yeah.
my friend, her muscles would hurt so bad for like 3 or 4 days afterwards. So you're like 2 days into it. So I know you're probably hurting.
Well, see, in all honesty, I'm not really hurting. A lot of people would say, Seth, how are you moving? Because
Yes.
I've got a steel plate in my foot.
Ah,
And the last time I had to do surgery on it, I had a seizure. And it actually bent the steel plate. And
oh, wow.
I don't know if they bent the screws or not, but I know it bent the plate,
The
and I
plate
had to
itself.
go back in, and the doctor that was doing the surgery, where I've got this cerebral palsy, my muscles continuously just twitch.
Wow.
It's not a moment that does not go by that my muscles do not twitch. So they thought they could put me on anesthesia, and that doctor coming there with the saw, and yeah, he almost cut off his hand. Let's just say that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but no, they end up having to put a steel plate that was specifically made just for the International Space Station.
Wow.
Yeah,
That you
because
think that's how much pressure that your body goes through when you go through a seizure enough to bend a steel plate. That
yeah,
it's horrible. And the fact that cannabis helps you and you shouldn't have to fear for your freedom, your safety,
yeah.
and just your reputation because you're deciding to heal yourself. That's something that's working. You said you went from all those seizures to how many after you started using cannabis?
Uh, Now that I've been using cannabis, I will have one every couple of months. Now it will range from, let's say, 1 to 3, or probably 1 to 4. You know,
Right.
but hey, I will take one seizure out of every 3 to 4 months than I would having those back to back to back to back to back.
Let me ask you this: when you were on pharmaceuticals, did they help you as well?
Actually, no, they did not. Those were one of the biggest reasons why I was having seizures. They was putting me on at sometimes maybe 2 to 3 different seizure pills at a time, and then 2 different anxiety medications, and then they would have to mix that with my muscle spasm pills. And I started wondering, I'm like, okay, the pills are adding up, but every side effect that I went through on each pill, seizures,
Right.
seizures, seizures,
Oh my
and
God.
then it was bam, 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 bam.
Oh my
So
God.
then they finally put me on Effexor, and I've been told by many patients across the country, including my nana, a couple of other family members, that they don't know how I came off of Effexor, because even my doctor, which I do not like many, but this one I do, and I've listened to him since I was little. But he said, Seth, you will never be able to come off of this. He said, you're on such a high dose. If you do, you're going to withdraw and die.
Wow.
And so what I did was I was like, no, I'm not going to die. So I pretty much threw all of my pills down the toilet and said bye-bye.
Right. That's awesome. Yes,
And
people don't understand. They're always like, well, marijuana is harmful for you. And I'm like, how many deaths has that caused? How many deaths has the pharmaceuticals that they're putting us on caused?
mhm,
Because that's what I want to know.
yeah,
Like, you're saying that cannabis is so bad, but yet you're putting us on this poison. They had me on 3 milligrams of Xanax a day. They had me on 150 milligrams of trazodone. They had me on 150 milligrams of Paxil. They had me on fucking what is that shit? Not Adderall. That's what my son was on. Um,
right.
Abilify. That stuff made it where I could not chew or talk. Like I was literally slow motion going.
Oh, that sounds like
And
Seroquel.
I was like, no, I'm not taking this shit. So all of those medicines, the Xanax made it to where I didn't give a shit about nothing, especially anything I should care about. Like I
Right.
didn't care about anything. It caused me so many problems in my life growing up
Yeah,
because it made me a totally different person.
yeah,
And yet it was very hard to get off that 3 milligrams a day since I was 16 for panic attacks. And
yeah,
they never helped my panic attacks. I always ended up having panic attacks. And
yeah,
now I might have one panic attack every month compared to my 5 or 6 a week I was having.
yeah,
And people don't realize once you have that panic attack, it's just like seizures. It takes you like 3 days to get over. My
yeah.
son will come up behind me after having one 2 days later, and he'll be like, Mom, and I'll jump. Like, that's
Look,
because my nerves are just on edge, like, still from it.
right,
So,
right.
yeah, it's, I totally understand what you're saying about how it causes more problems than, than what we can heal ourselves with this plant.
Oh yeah,
I don't have any issues now with my anxiety. I mean, I do, but I can get over them. I can smoke a joint and deal with it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
the
I
pills
love.
didn't do shit. But get me
Yeah,
addicted and turn me into somebody I didn't like.
yeah. That's how it made me, or it turned me into, was a person just like that. When I was in my teens, I was just so wild that even my mother, my grandmother, none of my family could not even put up with me. My mom was threatening to kick me out of the house, just all because of me abusing those man-made drugs when
Hmm.
everybody was like, "Oh, weed's worse."
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I ended up eventually going into Woodridge. Yeah, I was so or such a loose cannon back in the day that I'm ashamed of myself to an extent to even be talking about this and just saying that because
I totally feel you. They can make you do some stuff that's not you.
yeah,
I totally feel you.
yeah,
It does. But you know, you're making up for it.
yeah, I am.
You're changing, and cannabis is making you a better person. And I commend you for getting up and standing up for Tennessee, especially because I recognize how hard it is to do because I'm in a town just like you. Like Johnson County, man, is and then didn't you say you were from Johnson too?
No, well, I'm from Sullivan County, but Johnson County is right next to us.
Okay, yeah. So it's just crazy because they're the same. They're the good old boy reefer madness crew over here that I'm having to deal with. But we go and we talk to the sheriff, and we have about an hour talk with him, let him know who we were and what we were about. And the cops pretty much don't mess with us. But I was talking to my husband today, and I was like, you know what? We just joined the Human Solution International. I was like, it's one thing trying to stand on the side of the street, but we're fixing to go in and start court supporting and passing out jury nullifications. I said, they're not messing with us now, but when we start doing that, it's probably going to do something. I said, but oh well, bring it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, put yourself in our shoes for a little bit.
Right.
So, yeah. Yeah. But this year in Tennessee, I think that we have a pretty good chance of actually getting into these politicians' minds and changing them. We've got 4 bills that are in Tennessee's session right now, and they are getting passed in the House. Really, the main one that I am focusing on is the bill, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's where I've had this seizure. I
have it here. I can look it up.
Yeah, where you can hold up to a half an ounce to an ounce.
Right.
And I think that is a good start. And there is another bill where they will be raising the THC limit. And I think that is a much needed bill in Tennessee, because with that bill they passed in 2014, the THC level was so low that now I know people take this strain Charlotte's Web and it does
HB 1610, HB 1898.
Yes. Yeah.
I think. Yeah. I read it off that paper you sent me.
Yeah. So that's the bill that I'm most interested in and wanting to get passed. I've got a good friend that works with Americans for Safer Access.
Awesome. We love them.
Tennessee. Yes, he is a amazing guy. He will be there for you anytime you need something.
They do a lot of good work. They do. They definitely do.
Yeah, and I'm very proud to be affiliated with them. But he is wanting me and another friend of mine named David Michael that helps me with my rallies when I do one here in the Tri-Cities area. He was wanting us to go up to the state capitol sometime this year and possibly work on one of the bills that a certain elected official is sponsoring this year.
Wow. Well, whenever that happens and everything starts rolling and stuff, let me know and I'll share it. And if you need to get back on the show to talk about it or whatever, we can get you on.
Well, anytime that you all want to speak with me about what is going on in Tennessee, because I know you all know Richard, and me and him has been friends for a very long time, and I know you know a lot of his friends as well, like I do. So
Yeah, we all
They're,
have the same. For some reason, the Canna family just seems to find each other. I'll get
yes,
friend requests that says you have 500 and something friends with this person, and I'm like, okay, cool.
yes. And it seems like we have worked with either 100 of them, and if not, we know who to go to.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. It's a wonderful family.
it is. It is.
You may okay. So to a person that hasn't came out of the closet yet, you are a smoker and you wonder why it's not legal because it's helping you. Come out of the closet. Get
Hmm.
up and stand up. Yeah, you may lose some things. You may lose some family over it, or you may lose, but you're going to gain so much more. You're going to gain the biggest family you've ever had.
Yeah,
You're not alone. We're all standing together.
yeah,
And we've been doing this for years now, and nobody's in jail. We're all still doing it. It's not
yeah.
illegal to fight for your freedom. So
No,
get out, stand up, y'all, and make a difference.
yeah. Each one of us has a voice, and use it to the best of your ability. Because when people get diagnosed with a illness, when you have it at birth, you just
Right.
think that you're always going to be living in the house and just doing simple things. But your voice can carry you such a long way. And the people around the globe that have been supporting me throughout these years, just like when I was telling you about them wanting me to do something with my name. And now, after so many years of having such a good support system around me, look, I'm able to finally get close to having one of my dreams come true, and that is owning a business in either the cannabis or the hemp industry. And so, it's people like you and Richard and everybody else that we know that makes us do what we do.
Right. It is. It's the stories. It's like your story might be able to reach a group of people,
Yeah.
but
And
some people don't relate to that story. They
yeah,
may relate to my story better or Richard's story better, or, so the more
exactly.
people and the more stories we get out there. And that's why this show started, to
Yeah.
get those faces out there, get the recognition to those people so people can hear their stories, because they might have a grandma that has what you have right now,
Yeah.
and they may be listening and saying, hey, maybe my grandma can be okay, maybe I can help her.
Yeah.
And
And you can change minds because uh, over the past couple, well, not couple, but I would say within this year, we, me and my mother, because she has been so active in this movement as well over the past couple of years, that we have seen some of our family members come to us for help on wanting to research and see what CBD and THC does and what it can do for this type of illness that they have or that a friend has. And we would
right.
never thought that they would be coming to us because, just like you said, we lost some people in the start, and a lot of those people were my family.
Man, it's sad when you think about all the lives that were lost
Yeah.
because they've been making a devil out of this plant. Like, how
Uh,
many lives could have been saved if they would have just done the damn research and
yeah.
and not made it some devil, because big pharma, big wood, big plastic, and big everybody else wants to make their money and didn't want it legal.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. It was racist reason, number one, and number two, it was lies, just so that the wood companies and everybody could, because the hemp was hurting them and they wanted hemp gone. And so
Exactly.
they just made it evil,
Yeah.
and people believed it.
Yeah. And and it's just, I don't know what is up with Tennessee, but they just do not seem to want to listen. The politicians, that is. But I do believe I am backing a right candidate for the position for Phil Rowe's seat in Tennessee in District 1 and our region. And I believe she knows what this generation of people are wanting, and she is willing to listen and just basically have what you or hear what you have to say.
Right. She's willing to stop and at least listen to what you got to say.
Exactly. And not go and get in the car and be like, okay, what's next?
Right, right. And that's how most politicians are. They're just waiting for the next thing to sign, and they don't really care about nothing. But, Seth, that's what this walk across America, I'm really interested in getting you involved in this. Okay. This is going to be a big deal. And let me see. I'm not sure if they're going through Tennessee. They're not going through Tennessee, but that could change. And we could set a Tennessee heart right there in your area if you would like to join in with us as we go across. It would be amazing.
Well, just shoot me the details, honey, and I will be more than happy to help out in any way I can. And if things do not work out in my region for you to do something, then it doesn't mean that you can't go any place else in Tennessee. And I will help you guys in any way possible.
Awesome. Well, if anybody out there wants to get involved with the Walk for Change, it's www.walk4change.us. And it's going to be badass. We're walking all the way from Southern California to the White House. And we ain't joking. We're done. And this is for all human rights, not just cannabis prohibition, but for water rights, indigenous rights, for the homeless rights, for the veterans' rights, for
any rights you're wanting.
Yes, and we're all joining together because you know what? That is the only way we're going to get this done. Yes. We all have these little fires. Then they're great fires. They're spreading, but they're spreading slowly. If we get together and create a big bonfire,
yes,
it's going to cause way more. Not damage, because it's going to be a peaceful protest, but you know what I mean. It's going to cause way more damage. People are going to listen to that. They're going to be like, whoa, we're going to need to stop listening because there's an army over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. When you have a bonfire, it's not, it's as hard as putting out just a little, campfire. It's going to take more people. And when you have more people, there's more attention. More attention brings the cameras, and the cameras brings the money, and the money brings the politicians.
Exactly. And that's what you need. And we got, as much as we hate it, we really got to get out there. I don't know if you can petition in Tennessee, but we can't here in Texas.
Honestly, I do not think that you can petition, but I'm not too sure on that. So,
right. Well, in our case, we can't petition. They cut that away from us around the same time they took hemp away or cannabis away. I don't know why I keep saying hemp.
They're just doing that so you all cannot vote on cannabis.
Yes, they don't want to hear our voices. They're going to do what they want because they want to go where the money goes.
Yeah.
Is there anything coming up, Seth, that you want to tell anybody about in your area that you're going to have going on? Like I know you said you had a walk 2 times a year or a march.
Well, this year it is looking like I am going out west on 420.
Cool.
Everything has not been set in stone just yet, but it does look like that I will be doing one more tour, it looks like. So I'm pretty excited about that, but I'm just waiting on the final confirmation.
Right.
As far as I know about the rallies, I'm not going to have one here in the spring, but the fall may be a different story because usually the fall I do not have anything going on whatsoever.
Right. So y'all just stay tuned to Seth Green. How do they get a hold of you? If they want to get involved in this march.
Yeah, just go to my Facebook page, Seth Green, and then my fan Facebook page, which is Greener Pastures, Tennessee. And then you can also Google my name, Seth Green, Tennessee, and it will put up all of my videos, my website, my YouTube channel,
Awesome.
etc. But before I go, I was wanting to mention the woman that is running for Congress, Nicole Williams,
Nicole Williams.
Rose position. She is not like a normal Republican. See, I'm a independent because I want to hear both sides of the story.
Right. And I'll vote for who's right. Yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. And so with her,
I vote green.
Right. But with her, she does not have a lot of money like these special interest groups.
Right.
Would pick and choose your elected official, just like the movie The Campaign.
Right.
And so when we got a chance to talk, she sounded very compassionate about what she was wanting to do, compassionate about what she was wanting to do and get done, not only in Tennessee, but on the federal level as well.
Awesome.
And she supports my religious rights, which is a very big deal for me in this movement that we are in, because like I said before, we are in the Bible Belt, and it is
Bible
very
Belt
hard.
Here too.
Yeah, it's very hard to change people's minds.
It is. I'm telling you, dude. That's the exact word for it too. I was looking for it earlier. The Bible Belt. Where I'm right smack in the middle of it. It's like crazy. Some of the things that people believe.
They would rather have meth and coke and heroin and all different types of pills on the streets instead of one plant that's never killed anybody and that can help and save lives, but they want to control the population. You know?
Right.
That's just all it is. They can say what they want on the TV, and they can call this fake news and all of that, but that's just how it is.
All it takes, y'all, is one simple, go to YouTube, go click your YouTube app, type in cannabis as medicine, and you are going to see people with seizures, people with MS, people with Alzheimer's, people with multiple sclerosis, I did say MS already, people with all kinds of issues, and they will take a hit of cannabis and be just fine. You go watch that, and then you go tell me that it don't work.
Yeah. I've actually got a Facebook video. I didn't put it on YouTube, but I did put it on Facebook. And it was me having a very light seizure. And you could tell my mom put in a little bit of tincture right before it started. And as it was settling into my back of my throat, I could feel my muscles just start to slowly go away, just stop vibrating. And then next thing I know, my mouth stopped twitching, and you could see the tincture run out of the corner of my mouth. And 5 to 10 seconds, I was like, thank you.
It's just amazing. This is a God-given plant, y'all. This is not a scary thing. This is very, very good for you. It's not going to do any of the damage that the pharmaceutical pills do. And there are studies that people say there's no study. There's studies out there, millions of them. Go look.
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, thousands.
That's the one thing I heard testifying is there's not enough studies. And I'm thinking, who are we? We are up here testifying, telling you that this plant helps us, crying our eyes out, letting you know, pleading with you to legalize this, and you put some damn 0.5 THC cap on our shit. What the fuck?
Yeah, well, see, that was one of the main things. See, where my family is religious and everything, I actually wanted to do my research as well. And so I actually did type in what all types of illnesses cannabis can help.
Right.
And I got over 800.
That's just it. You can't name them all. That's why I was like sitting here trying to name them, and I'm like, I'm not even
It
going to
was
try.
an article, and it said 800 list 800 illnesses that cannabis can help/cure.
But cannabis is still a Schedule 1 drug, which means it has no medical value, y'all.
Yeah.
It is worse to get caught with cannabis than Coke.
Yeah, I don't. It's
because Coke has a medical value for pharmaceuticals. So does heroin. So does meth. It's called Adderall. It's called what's that drug they had? I think it was Adderall. What they had my son on. They had him on it from the time that he was 10, and the minute he turned 18, they stripped it away from him. Yeah. What do you think he went to look for to get that feeling back?
I know the exact feeling he went through. When I was 13, they automatically put me on Valiums, and around the age of 16 to 17, I got tested positive for THC in my system, and where I was having that many seizures in that period of time, they snapped them right out of my hand. And it created so much more problems.
Right.
And that's, the pills made me just want to go to that place in my mind to think about suicide.
Right.
And that's not what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to help you. I mean, come on, if that's what they're doing, then the FDA needs some new management up in the board of directors.
Right. I got really low at a time in my life when I was living in Iowa, and I checked myself into a hospital because I knew I was going there. And once I get there, I need help. You know what I mean? Getting back up. And my depression is just so low. It's manic. It's hard to get out of once you go down in it,
Yeah.
So I was asking for help, and I went in there, and they wanted to take me off my Xanax and put me on something called Klonopin.
Okay.
So they put me on this Klonopin, and after a week being on this Klonopin, I woke up in a bathtub, a slit wrist. Don't even remember doing it. The last thing I remember is being outside pulling weeds, and the next thing I know, I'm in a bathtub, cut my wrist. I went to they ended up putting me in a psych ward then, of course, after that. And when on my bus ride back to my house when they released me, I was having a conversation with the driver, and I was telling him about the Klonopin, and I didn't remember doing it and all this stuff. And he was like, oh my God, that exact same thing happened to my son. He said, I read it up, and it said that Klonopin causes suicidal thoughts. Mm-hmm. I went into that hospital because I was suicidal. And so what do? They take me off my medicine and put me on this other stuff that's supposed to work, and it made me do that.
Yes, it makes it worse.
Yes.
They're just basically trying to kill you fast.
Yes, that's what they want. They don't want to deal with you because they know you can't make no money off of you except through medicine.
Exactly.
You can't work, you're disabled because you can't hold a normal job like everybody else.
No, and you just got to go from one doctor to another to a doctor to another one.
So instead of taxes, they make money on you medically.
Yeah, and most of these patients are not just there for the pills. I think most patients there are for the right reasons, but the medical field that we have in our society today is just so out of whack.
It is.
That they have to just keep going to these different doctors to try and get the right treatment.
Doctors don't care about you anymore. It ain't like it was when they used to home visit. You know what I mean? It's not like that. They all you are is a number to them. Yeah. The one doctor I have 2 bulging discs in my back, and the first doctor I went to told me I had tennis elbow.
Right.
Because I said my arm was hurting because it was causing my arm to hurt, not my back. I mean, I was used to my back hurting, but my arm was like this big cramp.
Right.
And he tells me I have tennis elbow and to go home.
Huh. You know,
Crazy.
yeah, their words can't explain it. You can just only just shake your head at those type of things, in my opinion, because
Right.
with me, my temper, uh, you don't want
Well,
to.
you think about how stubborn, you know how the doctors are. You know what I mean? They're God. They know everything.
Yeah.
And so to get them to admit that they could possibly be wrong,
Oh yeah.
that's almost impossible. There are some though that are coming around.
Yeah, and I applaud those doctors out there in the country that are coming out and support of cannabis and going against their colleagues in the medical field because they could be on the front
Yes.
lines of the cannabis
They
research,
get a target on their back too. It's not easy doing that, but
but the reward will pay off. I mean,
yes.
that's just my way
Think
of
of how
thinking.
many patients you're going to actually be able to heal and help instead
Exactly.
of just medicate and dump. If
Exactly.
you are a doctor because you wanted to help people, then
Yeah.
get behind this movement, y'all.
Yeah. I know one woman, and she is in the medical field right now, and she is living out west, but she travels back and forth to the east coast to the west, and she is such a wonderful woman, and she's a doctor, but she understands when to listen and open up her mind and get the right information and not just look at the dollar bills.
Right. Yeah, if you listen to your patients, you can find out what's wrong.
Yeah, you can.
But you have to open your ears and listen to them. And the patients have to feel like they can come to you and tell you that this is helping them and you're not going to totally yank every medicine that they're on
Yeah.
because they're trying to medicate this way to get off all that.
Yeah, and nowadays it's not like that. You can't go into the doctor like you used to. Be like, hey, doctor, you're going to go in and be like, oh, crap, what is he going to take me off this week? What is he going to put me on this week? So, yeah,
Yep.
I understand.
Well, hell yeah, Seth. Thank you so much for coming on. We're about right at that time. Did you have anything else before we close out?
No, honey, I just, like again, I just thank everybody that just keeps supporting me, and I hope people will stay tuned in on my business adventure I've got going on here. I will let the people know about my product line coming out soon. This week, I'm meeting with the people over at Horse Creek Farms and Processing, and we
Cool.
are going to start talking business. So
That's
just stay
amazing.
tuned.
Heck yeah. Well, you know, COCW will always have your back. We love you. And anytime you need us to pass anything on, just let us know and we'll get it
Well,
everywhere because we got soldiers in Facebook and they can get it all over the place. So
I totally thank you from the bottom of my heart, and the same goes for me, or it comes for me. If you need any help with anything, just let me know. Because working with people like you and Richard and everybody, Pete, it makes me feel good to know that, hey, you've been given a second chance and you're not going to waste it.
exactly.
And I
You're
just
so
thank you for the
awesome. You
opportunity.
rock. We love you, Seth. You have a wonderful night.
Well, you have a wonderful night, and God bless, and I thank you, and you all have good, sweet dreams.
Awesome. Peace.
Peace.
Cool deal, everybody. So that was Seth Green. He is from Greener Pastures. Y'all go look him up on Facebook and stay tuned for his new business adventure. I wanted to just say one more time, the Walk for Change, y'all. Get in on this. This is something you don't want to miss. Go check it out at Walk for Change with the number 4.us and fill out if you want to be a sponsor, if you want to be a trail fairy, which is somebody that's going to help people along the way, help them, whether it's bathrooms or with food or with socks or with whatever you think you can help. You might not be able to join this walk, but you can help this way. Play a backyard to sleep in. Come do it. Come join us. It will be coming through your area. If we're not, you can start your own walk with a few of your friends and walk at the same time. And we'll put you on the map and we'll start sharing your stuff. Send pictures as you're doing it and stuff like that. And you'll be walking in solidarity with us. And I just appreciate all